Hi, welcome to Chad Silversmithing. First, thanks for coming to my channel. I appreciate you visiting. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button on your way out, that helps me out quite a bit. I wanted to thank all of my subscribers. I just passed 2,700 subscribers, which is amazing to me. Thank you all for your support and watching my videos. I wanted to make a special thanks to my patrons over on Patreon. That's a growing community over there, and we're having fun and learning from each other, and I really enjoy that, and I really appreciate their support. So one of the things that we do over there is each month I give them a prompt for a piece of jewelry to make, and this month I gave them architecture as the prompt, and they're supposed to design a piece of jewelry based on any architecture that they want. So I'm eager to see. I've seen one of the pieces that they've made so far, and I'm eager to see the other ones. This today, my video is going to be the one that I'm doing. I'm doing something that's sort of Frank Lloyd Wright inspired with his little patterns and stained glass and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and kind of capture that essence. And so it's going to be a Frank Lloyd Wright inspired bracelet today. So hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started on the bracelet here. But before we do, let's talk about some materials that I'm going to use. I've picked out, I have 3 of these little smoky quartz square cabs that are kind of very transparent and not very dark, so I like those. Those are nice. And I've picked out 4 of these little rectangular garnets. I'll tell you how big these stones are. This one's about 3.5 by 5, or 3.5 by 5.5, maybe, somewhere in that range. And this one here is 7 by 7. For the outer part of the bracelet, I'm going to use 14 gauge square wire, sterling silver. For the bezels, for the stones, oops, I grabbed the wrong stuff. I'm using 3/16 inch fine silver bezel strip. I like it tall because then you can file it down if you want it shorter. And this is 28 gauge, I think, so it's a little bit thin. For some of the decor inside of the bracelet, I use some 18 gauge round to create steps in the bezels, since we're going to have open backs on all of these. And then I'm going to use, I think, some 16 gauge round for some of the decorations in the center part of the bracelet. So that is my plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. I'm also going to incorporate some other metals here. I've cut out in advance because this is I've got 7 stones and a lot of other steps in this one, so I did a few things in advance here. One of the things was I punched out some discs out of some scrap copper and some brass, like this, using a disc cutter, and then I cut them in half, and because I'm going to put some semicircles in the design made out of these different metals. So I've got I cut out 2 copper discs and 2 brass discs, and then I chopped them in half. So those are ready to be added into the design. Let's take a look at the drawing I came up with. Okay, so I was going to make it about this big. I tried to use the stones themselves for scale. Although with the bezel it might be a little bit bigger, so I may make this slightly bigger on the outside. And then the garnets will go here. This. And then various discs made out of copper and brass will go in these spots here like this. So, and then we'll have some see-through areas, and these little bars here are going to be the 16 gauge round wire I think I'm going to use for that. So let's give this a try. I think first let's make some bezels for these guys, and then we'll get going on the border and everything else. I'm going to make both of these with open backs, and I'm going to create a little step bezel, basically, using 18 gauge round wire. I just forgot to put my hair up. Okay, so I'm going to cut myself a little piece of this 18 gauge to create our steps. Here's a little bit of that 3/16 inch bezel. I think let's start with the smoky quartz. So I'm going to file the end flat. Doing sharp cornered stones like this, you never want to put the corner of the bezel in the corner of the stone. So I'm going to kind of make a little bend part way down like that, so that it's got a little, it's not going to be right on the corner then. Then I can kind of like eyeball it as we go around. Get it pretty close usually. I don't want to have a lot of excess space on these guys, so I'm going to try to make them pretty snug. I've already got some solder I cut earlier, so I think we're golden that way. We did pretty good on the size. Let's make a little step for this guy. For the faceted stone, I'm going to put 2 rings, one on top of the other. For this one, I'm just going to do 1, I think. When you're doing these, you want to correct for any kind of unevenness, like wobbliness. Get them all into a single flat plane. It's pretty good, actually. The easiest way to solder these in is to set them on a piece of solder or 2, after you flux them, of course. So there we go. Kind of a nice flat surface here. Okay, there's those 3. Now we got to work on the garnets. Stones in here. I have 4 garnets, so that's a total of 7 stones. That's more stones than I usually put in a single piece. I usually don't have more than 1 or 2. Occasionally 3. That's not too bad. Got it pretty tight around there, and then I'm going to make a little mark. I don't want to have a lot of excess space, like I said. Okay, I think we're okay on the size. I'm going to make 2 little rings to fit inside of this that are going to be rectangular like the stone. Just like we did for the square, except with a faceted stone you got that pointed pavilion on the bottom that you need to elevate so it doesn't stick out the back. That's why I'm putting 2 layers. You can do step bezels in a lot of ways. This is just one way. Well, I think we got them. Let's solder them in. sprayed that thing right across the pad. So, do the rest of those now. Got all my stone bezels made, and then I got these other components. So let's see how I end up like here. Looks like I got all my components. So I'm thinking these the garnets, in order to make them sit where I want them to sit here, I'm going to need to make this slightly wider, I believe. Because when I line up the, where I drew it to here, it was with just the stone itself, so it didn't have a bezel around it. So in order for that to sit right about there, it's going to have to stick out a little bit more. So I think what I'll do is I'll cut these two, the two long ones here, get those perfectly symmetrical and straight, and then I'll solder two end ones on, and we can adjust the width as we need at that point. 6 inches. So let me find that square wire. This is 14 gauge square. Okay, I'm going to spend a little time getting this straight. Both of these straight in both dimensions. Those are pretty darn close to straight, so. That's pretty good as far as the width. So, I'm going to cut a piece that's a little bit longer for each side. Get those nice and straight. I think that's a pretty good width, so let's do this. just doing a little bit of fine-tuning of how straight these are. Trying to get them to look as symmetrical as possible. Everything lay flat. Okay, so I think I'm going to start soldering components on. But I'm going to start with the stones, I think. So let's start with, there's a garnet goes right here. Garnet goes right here. Garnet goes right here. And a garnet goes right here. Try to get the center of each of those. Those look pretty good. Let's see if we can't get those soldered on. So the question is, do I add the copper and brass things first, or do I start putting in some of the decorations? I think I need to put in some of the decorations first, so I need to find that 16 gauge. Okay, I think I'm going to start with this one here, and this one here. So, make sure to get the mark right on the spot here. do those last two like that. And then we'll start adding discs, I think. Yeah. I think our next step is going to be adding these little discs in. So I'm going to spend a little time making sure they're uniform. Now I can at least get a look at it and see whether I like that configuration or not. I do think I like that. Okay, so I think I just need to mark kind of the center of each of those spots so I know where to flux it, so, or where to sweat some solder on the inside seam of the border of this thing. So those are the spots I really need to add some solder. Two there, one here, two there. I think I can do that even after the marks disappear. Where is my, there's my pick, some solvers. I'm not going to use huge pieces. And then push them back where they're supposed to go. So that was a run that seam. There we go. This YouTube channel, maybe I'll rename it Chad's Disintegrating Table. Okay. I may need to take a little stretch break because my neck is starting to have any problems. So, take a little break, come back and see if we can't get this thing finished. Okay, took a little back break. And continue to add some more components to this thing. I think I'm going to solder these wires sticking out of the middle side of one of those square settings for the smoky fluxes. It might have been smart to sweat a little bit of solder on the ends of the wires, but you can do it either way. Once I have them all attached, then I'll straighten them. I don't know if you can see it, but I pre-melted a little solder on the end of this one. That's pretty square to me. So that's going to go there basically. But, like I said, I want to solder in some of those other pieces that these are going to attach to. So I'm going to set this one off to the side for a minute. And then I'm just going to go down and do the rest of those. And I'll probably do that off camera so you don't have to watch me do the same thing over and over again. Okay, I got those ones soldered on. And I thought we could put this guy in and kind of just center him. And make little marks where we cut these off. Square bezels here. And one last little bit, each of these here. going to go from here to here. And from here to here. So, get those cut inside again. Then we can let this guy pickle for a while. So if I didn't have any messed up solder joints or anything, I think we're probably done. Except for maybe trimming off these ends. Okay, so I think we're ready to pickle. Did a lot of polishing and filing of bezels and other sorts of things of that nature, and I think I'm ready to start shaping this to more of a bracelet shape. The thing about using a bracelet mandrel is you don't really just wrap it around the mandrel. You find the area that has the right curve for what you're trying to do. Use that part. Keep fiddling with this in front of you, but what I will do is I will set a couple of these stones. Start with one of these smokies. Alright, I think I got it in there. Let's see if I can get it set now. The sides first. And I usually, on the top of the bezel here, right on the corners of these sharp corners, file them just a little tiny bit thinner. It'll make it just that much easier to push that bezel over the corner. Garnets now. Usually do the corners first on faceted stones, push them in straight, and then do the sides, especially on rectangular or square ones. And I'm going to do a little burnishing on this one. So I have another 5 stones to set, so I'm not going to make you watch me do the same thing over and over again, but that's basically what you have to do to build a bracelet like this. I'll take some better pictures at the end and post them. So thanks for watching. Okay, that was the Frank Lloyd Wright inspired bracelet. I hope you had fun watching it. I think I had fun making it, so it's always fun to try something new, and I enjoyed doing this one, and I hope that my patrons like it over on Patreon. Before you leave today, make sure to hit the like button. I'd love to have you subscribe, but before you subscribe, check out a couple of other videos. There's a lot of good content here. I've been working pretty hard over the past year to produce a catalog of techniques and projects that you can try. I think there's lots of content that you can find useful, whether you're a beginner or whether you're someone who's more experienced and just want to have some idea stimulation or learn a few different techniques. So make sure to check that out, and I'd love to have you subscribe. So thanks for watching. Happy silversmithing. Take care.